It's on Spectrum to try and find a way to get a map off of this. It will be their map pick. So you have some options here about what you can do to pull things together. Try and get this tied up. And I'm looking at the map pool here. Looks like we will be heading to, you know, I'm actually not sure. A hybrid map next. So our options for hybrid, we got Kings Row, the classic. We got Eichenwald, another favorite. Midtown, a newer one, but you know, it has some interesting play styles. We'll have to see. If I were Spectrum, I think that we looked a little bit better when we were on that dive composition, when we were on that Winston. That being said, these hybrid maps, not gonna favor dive quite as much. Midtown and Kings Row especially, really hard to run that dive, but there's a little bit of wiggle room in Eichenwald. Especially come second point, you can play on the high ground a little bit more, so we'll see what they opt to take us to. Of course, they did swap over to that Ramatra, so maybe you're feeling comfortable on that Ramatra comp, but like Rocky mentioned, it did feel like the Ramatra was struggling a little bit, especially into that Junker Queen composition. Oops. Yeah, we're hey, we're here though. We're watching some Overwatch, and that's it. Oh gosh. Yeah. I love the one time that I tried to mute in OBS and it decided that it was gonna instead take my audio from my webcam, so I thought I was muted and I'm just like yapping away, being picked up by my webcam. Brutal.
So many times I think, you know, OBS is using the mic from my actual, because it's set on default, and my microphone, my main microphone's set on default. Well, then for some reason, it wants to connect to my Oculus Rift, which, by the way, is not even... The Oculus Rift is not even on. It's not even on.
That's wild, actually.
Yeah. And then it just connects to it. It happens, like, in-game as well. It's kind of crazy.
That is pretty wild. So that's, yeah, the joys of doing production. There's always something that's gonna be going wrong. It doesn't matter. Even if you have all the time in the world to prepare, there's always gonna be something.
Yep. I mean, yeah, it's always I always like to say, whenever you're doing production, whenever you're doing streaming, something's gonna go wrong in the stream. It always happens. It's just one of those things. Not much you can do about it.
Alright. Well, Spectrum think that they found the answer to Silver Star Surfers in this map pick. It's gonna be Kings Row for our hybrid map, so I was kind of unsure if we were going to want that, but no, yeah, they're feeling confident on the Brawl, I guess, so we will have that classic Brawl map coming in.
Oh, love me a bit of Kings Row. The Christmas version of it as well, that one's fantastic.
So good, absolutely.
I'll never forget the first time it showed up in comp, and all my friends and I were just playing Overwatch, you know, queuing games over and over again, just hoping to get Kings Row.
That's so true, yeah. Feels good to get the Kings Row. Yeah, we're just gonna wait here for the teams.
What are your thoughts on the new perks? Because to be honest, I haven't really played around with them that much. How powerful do you think they are? How like, does, you know, one character having really great perks make them better than a normally, you know, good character that has bad perks like that? Or, you know, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so with having perks in the game now, it's changed things a little bit. It is nice because the perks are going to allow you to just add kind of another layer of skill to your individual gameplay, but then you can also kind of add perks so that you can combo them along. So I'm thinking I've been seeing a lot kind of on the a little bit of a trend, I guess, where you have the Tracer and you have the Pharah, and you go ahead, you use the perk for Pharah that turns the concussive rocket kind of around so that it's pulling people in, and then you hit them with the pulse bomb from the Tracer. So a lot of really interesting kind of combinations that are coming into play. Ultimately, it feels, once you kind of get into things, it does feel a little bit minor. A lot of the times, even like really strong perks, like example, Tracer has a perk that gives you all of your blinks back after you recall. That's a major perk for Tracer.
That's fun.
Yeah, so although it does sound really, really strong, in reality, because every single hero has these minor and major perks, despite some of them being a little bit overpowered, they all kind of end up feeling fairly balanced, and a lot of the times you might not even notice kind of when you're in the game, like, specific perks unless you like specifically die to one of them. So I love the perks, and I do think that it has helped tank, especially where you only have the one tank. It feels like the perks are giving you a little bit more freedom in the way that you can play your heroes, and it goes for every hero, of course. But ultimately, it feels like perks kind of slid into the gameplay really, really well, which is great because I had no idea how they were going to work. I'd never played a game with perks or anything like that before. I thought that it might be quite jarring, but No, I think that they fit into the game really well, and they're fun to play with.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of, like, although I haven't played League that much, it kind of reminds me of items from League. It's just I think it's just another way to make your character, you know, just a bit more unique, you know. So when you're playing, you know, Tracer versus Tracer, maybe you pick like the recall one you said. I also remember there was one where it's like you recall and what was it? It was like it was the alternate one to the blink one. But it's again just something different to spice it up, you know.
Yeah, I think the other major perk is you get blinks back when you take health packs, I think, or maybe that might be a minor one.
Yes, that's it.
This is the trouble with perks, is that there's like I think there's 168 perks in the game, so like just trying to remember them all is almost impossible.
And it helps they had names, honestly, you know? But I feel like coming up with that many names, I think it's a bit of work as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. All right. Teams are ready, so we are heading in to King's Row. I believe that we're just going to wait a little minute while the teams are selecting their heroes. We will, however, have Spectrum opting to start out on the defense here. So thinking that they're going to be able to get a bit of an advantage. That's a nice thing about starting on the defense, is that you can set a very clear win condition for yourself, and sometimes teams really like to go for that.
Yeah, I always like to start on the defense because, you know, it, like you said, it sets, you know, win condition. It lets you, when you're on attack, it lets you know how many points you got to push, how far you got to, you know, having that goal in when you're pushing really kind of just helps a little bit, if not even just for the, you know, mainly for the mental, you know, saying just, you know, we got this much more to push, whereas if you're on attack, you're just trying to push as far as you can.
Yeah, that's so true. Exactly. So, okay. Yeah, Spectrum on the defense. Doors have not opened just yet, so can't trust exactly what we're seeing. There is still time here, but quite the composition coming out from Spectrum on this defense, as they will be locked into this. So we have Mayo over on the tank now, off of the Tracer. We'll have Ordinary on the Sombra, Tlelu still on that Sojourn, and then we have Zarkmon coming in, Ordinary moving off of the support onto the DPS, Zarkmon in, Maka still on the support as well. Now, here we go on the attack. Ooh, Q actually gonna open the fight up here, finding that pick onto Ordinary, who was over on the side on that Sombra trying to get set up, and it's just a flood here for Surfers to walk in, or sorry, for Spectrum to walk in onto the point. As Surfers will trade back out. Mayo is gonna kill Shin there, but yeah, the Spectrum already pushing forward. 3 versus 3 on the point here. No ticks gained just yet. Nice slam from Mayo. Baldric goes straight into the wall. The monkey falling so very low. Eris trying to wall right away. Will manage to get out with just a sliver of their life. As this long extended fight ultimately going to be favoring Spectrum here. Their spawn, of course, is a little bit closer. Trying to put some presence on this point. Trying to at least get a tick for your troubles. They will go ahead. Spectrum gonna pick up that first tick, but the remaining members of Surfers are all kind of just hovering around this point. Nice nade out from Zarkmon, but they are going to fall ultimately to Baldric, doing a very good job on this. Winston
no
just died. No, oh, okay, yeah, actually really big from Mayo, picking up both of the support players from Spectrum. And although you picked up 2 here, you gotta be really careful if you're Spectrum, because Mayo is just absolutely on fire here. Gonna find Q on that Tracer as well. Finally, Jin gonna be able to shut down that Doomfist, and that is going to be Spectrum after a little bit of a battle, capturing this point and gonna start moving the payload forward.
Yeah, I thought that was gonna be more of a, more of a stomp, but no, they, Silver Star Surfers held that really well, just delaying with that Doomfist, letting him get all the value that he can get.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the Doomfist. You have so many cooldowns. You're gonna get the shields if you successfully hit those those cooldowns. Well, the punch in trying to find the kill onto Eris, but it almost looks like Mayo just kind of trapped themselves in a corner. They do have that Meteor Strike, the little get out of jail free card. Nice Pulse Bomb from Ordinary. Actually gonna find the stick onto YOLO, so now no supports here for Spectrum, and yeah, we see Baldric just jumping out, trying to get back into that spawn. That's going to be Surfers actually holding very close here despite dropping that point. They are looking to hold this first archway. We'll see what Spectrum can do to break into this. You've got all your ultimates to work with except for that Pulse Bomb, so it's looking very good here as they do push that payload through the choke point. Not going to have to worry about that. You do have to worry about Mayo, though, in the back line. Absolutely deleting YOLO, who did have that Kitsune Rush. Baldric trying to get aggressive, find a trade, but the Primal Rage has been forced, kind of just jumping all over the place here. Here we go, finding the kills that they were looking for. That nice double for the 1 jump. Meanwhile, though, fight happening over on the payload here. Just a little bit of cleanup as Mayo, the last remaining member for Surfers, and now payload time to be pushing forward. And crucially here, Spectrum only committed the Primal Rage there to win that fight, but in the meantime,
Goodness.
Okay, Baldric, very nice. Finding that kill onto Ordinary, that's really good here. You're taking a lot of space if you're Spectrum, and yeah, that's gonna force the Kitsune Rush and the Overclock to come out here. Shin goes ahead, shuts down that Overclock with their blade. However, Zarkmon does have the rally up, so gonna find Baldric. It's a chance here for Spectrum to try and contest this point, but crucially, you don't have your tank to help you out here. That being said, though, Mayo also not in the fight either, so it's just a full-on brawl on the point here. Looking pretty darn good for Spectrum. The recall forced out from Ordinary, and Mayo has got the rollout here, so able to get back into the fight, but as soon as they do, Baldric back in, has the beat from Eris to back them up, connects onto 4 members from Spectrum. Again, the recall from Ordinary. It's gonna get, chased out. Baldric finding that kill, just Mayo now, and scrappy fights happening here, but Spectrum are able to roll into this 3rd point of Kings Row with a really healthy time bank of more than 3 minutes.
Yeah, that was really great by Spectrum. I think they know what their game plan is Dive. They're doing it really well, and they're kind of catching some of the, a lot of the players on Silver Star Surfers just unaware.
Yeah, we will see Baldric trying to get aggressive, trying to create space for their team. Gonna get punished for it by the punch from Mayo, but a little bonk in the head from YOLO will also send Mayo back to spawn, and they're all even up here, and We do have Baldric getting back into this fight. Nice pulse bomb from Q, gonna take down Maka. That's a very big source of healing now gone for Silver Surfers. Ooh, YOLO, they get the Kitsune rush up just as they get punched into the wall, are able to survive through it, but it's really, really hard for Spectrum to make any use of this Kitsune rush because honestly, Surfers are just pushing so far forward. Maka will find the kill on Baldric, and with the tank down for Spectrum, it's all the way back to the spawn room. I suspect we see Eris just jump right on off the map, and not bad from Surfers to get back into this, but, you know, you had to use some ult. Well, actually, you didn't use any ultimate. You didn't build up to the Nano just yet, but you have the Doomfist ult. You have both DPS ults, too. Spectrum, you're working with the Primal Rage. Shin does have the Blade, which is really great because there's no rally for Surfers just yet. Meteor strikes out. Doesn't quite connect, but doesn't matter. Is going to be able to finish off YOLO there, and it really feels like this Kiriko for the side of Spectrum is kind of getting targeted a little bit. The deflect. Not going to be able to get the deflect kill onto Tlelu, who was using that Deadeye. But in the meantime, the other members of Silver Star Surfers going to back up their Cassidy, find those kills, push almost all the way in to the spawn doors of Spectrum before backing out here. Now, Spectrum, you'd use the Primal there, but you didn't use the Blade. But because you didn't use the Blade last fight, Zarkmon is built up to this rally, which is going to be really great for countering this Blade from Shin. Eris does have the beat, so potentially you go for the beat mid-fight. Yeah, Blade out immediately is met with that rally. Nice timing here from Eris with that beat to keep their Genji alive and in the fight. Ooh, ultimately will end up losing Shin, but not before members are fallen from Silver Star Surfers, and looking good here for Spectrum. Just Mayo kind of hanging out on the point. Misses that punch in, falling very low here. Actually, if Spectrum can find this kill onto Mayo or even onto one of the other supports, it's going to be great for getting some staggers going, because overtime is going to be ticking down very, very quickly. And once that overtime hits, the respawns are going to be so much longer. Deadeye from Tlelu. Wow, holds it just long enough. They pick up 2 kills onto Shin, and YOLO absolutely massive. Gonna find Baldric, gonna pick up the kill onto Q. Nice little 4K for Tlelu. Going to shut down the push from Spectrum. Excellent stuff from Silver Star Surfers.
I mean, yeah, you know, Tlelu's just doing so much work there on the Cassidy. That was, every time I was spectating him, he was just getting dinks on dinks upon dinks upon dinks, you know.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's it sounds so silly, but like that's so important when you're playing hit scan. Like you really gotta hit your shots. I don't really know how else to put it, because it's just like these hit scans aren't like a utility based, right? This is all like mechanics. You have cooldowns, but like it's not your cooldowns that are gonna be getting the kills.
Yeah, if you're not hitting your shots as hit scan, I don't know what you're doing, because that's about the only thing you should be doing.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm playing Soldier 76 and I'm missing every single shot, what's the point? Might as well just play like a... Might as well just go and play Mercy, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Swap over to the Torbjorn.
Yeah,
Get your turrets down for you. I've done it. I'm definitely guilty of it.
I've also done that. That's a classic, you know, my shots aren't landing, my tracking's bad, you know? Bad day, just switch over to the Torb, chill out, go over some quick play instead.
Yes, oh, absolutely. Alright, well, Spectrum are now on the defense. And, interesting, we will have, wow, actually, it looks like we might end up on a Sigma mirror here. Nope, Mayo is just teasing that. Gonna swap back over onto the Doomfist. So, I'm really aggressive here. Shin is almost all the way in the spot. Yeah, gonna get punished by Mayo. Spotted out that Genji, and this is not looking very good for Spectrum. If you are them, you need to start backing up. You can recontest this, right? You can give over a tick if you absolutely have to, but you absolutely can't lose anyone else. Eris is gone. That is not good. It's all blue in the kill feed. Just an absolute flood from Silver Star Surfers after they find that first pick onto Shin. Absolutely brilliant from them.
Great first pick there, just punishing, you know, punishing Shin just so early.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, we see some swaps coming out from Spectrum here too. So Shin is gonna move over onto that Cassidy. Baldric gonna move over onto the Zarya as well. So we'll see what you're able to get done with the Zarya. It's gonna be a little bit harder to kind of build up that charge where Ordinary's on the Tracer. Talelu is on that Cassidy, so you might be able to get some charge from them. We do have a quick pause. I suspect, yeah, or potentially a disconnect. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, Spectrum losing their tank there. I mean, Baldric did just swap over onto the Zarya, so at least you aren't losing a whole lot of ult charge, I guess.
But I guess we will have to wait until they come back, so...
Yeah. In the meantime, I guess, looking at the compositions that they do have locked in, yeah, ultimately the fight was just, it went by so quickly that no teams have really built up to any ultimates, but you are gonna have, our checks. Looks like Baldric is back in the lobby here, so hopefully we'll be getting going shortly. But yeah, Silver Star Surfers are going to be able to push up and take a lot of space because although you don't have to worry about a Baldric losing ult charge, you do have to worry about them walking all the way back from that long spawn. They will swap over onto that Winston just to try and cover some distance faster. I actually quite like this pick. Ooh, wow, yeah, Talelu, yeah, hitting their shots, like just doing hit scan things. They find Eris and Shin here. This is great stagger kills for Silver Star Surfers because now you have to wait for Shin and Eris to come back into this fight. You do have your tank back finally, but you ultimately are just not gonna win a fight 5v3. So we see Baldric pushing up, getting kind of aggressive here. Nice, gonna be able to get back out, but a lot of car progress here. Mayo, yeah, an absolute smash onto Q. You lose the Sojourn, and it really does feel like every single time that Spectrum think that they're ready to take a fight, there's another stagger kill coming their way. It's just time bleeding off the clock. Oh, it's very, very impressive here from Silver Star Surfers. You do get quite aggressive there. You lose Ordinary, but I do believe they're going to be able to pick up this second checkpoint with just an absolutely incredible amount of time.
Yeah, 4 minutes on the clock grabbing the second point. That's massive. They got 5 minutes 45 now. That's 5 minutes just to capture 1 point.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that you don't even have to get all the way to the end of third point Kings Row because you did not let them cap third point of Kings Row. You just have to get to that 54-32. Shin gonna go ahead pick up that kill onto Ordinary. Finally, Spectrum look like they're trying to stabilize here. Baldric has moved over onto this Zarya. You've got both DPS ultimates to work with, but I mean, on the side of Silver Star Surfers, they've done such a good job of just finding like an opening pick in every fight that you haven't had to really commit any ultimates. So you've got 4 to work with. It's the Nano from Maka going over onto Mayo. Okay, Shin trying to use this Deadeye to zone out. Will find the pick onto Ordinary, but it's a Pulse Bomb in return. All traded up here. We see Mayo getting aggressive, trying to find Baldric. Gonna be able to get out with the help of their supports. Q has this overclock online, but it's a Deadeye and a Rally shielding the Cassidy. Zarkon doing a good job on this Brigitte, and Baldric unfortunately a little bit too close to their right click, going to take themselves out. Q picking up Talelu. This is an opportunity. Gonna find Zarkmon as well. Here we go. Spectrum stabilizing just before 4.11 meters before Silver Star Surfers are able to pick that up. So it's gonna be a long hold here on third point for them though. Mayo's like kind of hanging out on this high ground, almost gets knocked off the edge. Who has the cooldowns available though, very nice. Gonna be able to stay alive here, trying to build up to this this Meteor Strike because there's really nothing else on the board for the side of Silver Star Surfers. And on the side of Spectrum, Baldric gets the Nano, has the grab should they so need it, but it honestly just the Nano. No way, Mayo finding the punch onto Baldric. The stars align. You punch the Zarya off. That was your Nano and your grab. You do not have the grab now if you're Spectrum. We are gonna see the Aunos traded out from both sides. The Rally available from Eris here. Gonna be able to keep Shin alive through this Deadeye. Doesn't actually find any kills with the Deadeye, but does a heck of a lot of damage. And honestly, saving grace there is that Eris had that rally to sustain their team through it, because it was looking a little bit dicey there once you lost your tank.
Yeah, that's a lot of ults that you didn't really want to use just because Zarya got booped, you know?
Yeah, no, so true. And now, yeah, your economy's a little bit rough. You're gonna have the overclock from Q shortly here, and you do still have that grab committed.
Oh.
Ooh, I think it might have been an attempt to grab Mayo, but just nothing. You have nothing. That was a massive ult that you really want to have back now. Talelu gonna pick up the kill onto Shin. Has the Deadeye to follow up here. Pulse Bomb from Ordinary also going to connect onto Eris. Deadeye finally finishing out. Will find the pickup onto Baldric. Q trying to pull this back with the overclock. They start with a kill onto Ordinary. Mayo, though, shutting that overclock down before they can find anything else. And here we go. Silver Star Surfers going to pick up King's Row.
Yeah, that was just great for the Mayo name, just doing so much work on the Doomfist. I wish every Doomfist I had on my team played like him.
Yeah, it's impressive when your Doomfist is not just getting trades, right? Like, okay, the Doomfist goes in, gets a kill, dies immediately. But no. Mayo is going in, getting a kill, and living. So a very crucial point. Yeah, really well played. We did see the play of the game there for Talelu on that Cassidy. Yeah, doing incredible work. It's not often that you always get to see like actual kills coming through with that Deadeye, but the patience from Talelu and then the support from Zarkmon on the Brig and then Maka on the Ana allowing their Cassidy to just like stay alive, charge up that Deadeye, and then actually getting kills from it. You love to see it.
Yeah, Talelu was doing a great job of just holding out that Deadeye just a little longer, so when everybody thinks it's over, you kind of peek back in just to check if it's over, and then he's already got the skulls charged up, so just left click and it's all done.
Yep, we yeah, good to see the DPS hitting the shots there. So third map, it will be the pick of Spectrum since they did lose out on King's Row. Looking at the maps, the third map that we'll be heading to will be a push map, and there's only two options here. So we're either going to Coliseum or we're going to Runasapi. Interesting to see which one Spectrum will opt to take us to. Now, I feel like Runasapi and Coliseum are the two push maps that probably play the most similarly. Not a whole lot of high ground to control compared to, I'm thinking like Esperanza has kind of those bridges. It's a little bit easier to get set up on a high ground and control it. So compositionally wise, you're probably going to be playing something similar if you go to Coliseum or if you go to Runasapi.
Yeah. That being said, Runasapi does have the high grounds in the center of the map a little bit. I always love playing around there. Just, bit of tracer. Gotta love darting in and out the like big buildings over there where you can get a bunch of cover. But yeah.
Very true. Yeah, this is now gonna be essentially like do or die for Spectrum here, because this is a first to 3. So it's either reverse sweep or go home. Well, I say that. I guess they could get one map in and then lose the next. But you'd really love to get a reverse sweep going if your Spectrum gets some momentum. Because right now, Silver Star Surfers are looking very comfortable on this composition. And I mean, King's Row, they set just a blitz of a pace on first and second point. Spectrum came alive a little bit on third point there, but yeah, it's going to be tough to take this team down. They look really, really strong, especially if they roll out on that Doomfist composition again.
Yeah, that Doomfist comp is scary, man. I always see it, and then it's just somebody always dies first. That's what always happens.
Yeah,
and always just getting that first pick, doing so well to get that first pick, just punishing anybody who's just slightly overextended.
Yeah, this is impressive to see from the side of Silver Star Surfers, because of course we are in season 4 here of the Annihilation Overwatch League, and Spectrum actually were our season 3 champions. So this is a team that has definitely had some roster changes, but it's a strong base composition for the team. So it takes a lot to kind of come up against them and pick up the first 2 maps in the series now. Spectrum has selected the push map that they will be taking us to, and we are going to be heading over into Colosseo.
Yep. What are your thoughts on Colosseo? Like it? Hate it? I genuinely, I think this is one of the best new maps to release. I have so much fun. But it might also be because I've been here, like in real life. I've been to the place in real life, and I think that just makes it even cooler. So I can walk around.
Yeah.
I can walk around, and I can say, "Wow, I basically walked around here." You know, where's the robot?
Yeah, that is so funny. That's literally me with New Queen Street. I have been to to Queen Street in Toronto and just wandering around. I was like, there should be a push bot here. But with regards to Colosseo, I do really like Colosseo. I have to say, when the push maps were first released, I have been playing Overwatch since Overwatch was released back in 2016. And
that's so long
I know. It's so long ago, isn't it?
It's
I'm aging
9
myself
years.
here.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. Yeah, pretty wild. So I did not like the push maps when the push maps first came out because I didn't like change very much. I wasn't really that happy about Overwatch 2. It was just a whole big thing. But they have grown on me an awful lot. I think that just the push maps in general have a really interesting kind of strategy to how they're played. A lot of the times we'll see teams, once you're kind of in the lead and you have the bot kind of pushed up to a good amount of space, you'll see them kind of just let the bot push back, and you just set up a kill space in whatever area is going to favor you. So sometimes you see teams intentionally letting the enemy team push the bot towards them so that they can kind of just bait themselves into just a death square. So
yeah, definitely.
Colosseo maybe not so much. Like I think that like Esperanza, New Queen Street a little bit more so, where there's more of that high ground to kind of control. But you did touch Brutus Oppie has a little bit of high ground. Colosseo does have a little bit of high ground as well. I like Colosseo for the amount of lanes that it has. There's a really good kind of side spot where you can fight with like the mega health pack, and I think that we see a lot more just kind of splits happening in team composition. So even if you're like playing a brawl composition, you still tend to have like one of your DPS players playing a bit on the flank, and that gives us the opportunity to see like some 1v1s, which are always fun.
Right, yeah. And I think especially on Colosseo, it's one of those push maps where you kind of, like you said earlier, where you kind of have to fall back. Colosseo is one of the maps where you don't really have to fall back because you can kind of, the bot just kind of pushes up, and you just kind of, the teams naturally find that, equilibrium where the choke points are, and they just, like every single fight I've done on Colosseo have been, I'm sure you know where they are, but it's kind of been like that under the bridge area once you've pushed up a fair bit.
Yeah.
Or it's either around the the neutral space before the first checkpoint, around the Colosseum, and I think that's where most of the big fights happen. And I think they just naturally, it's very cool that it just naturally kind of occurs instead of having to having to fall back and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll see. So of course this is Spectrum selecting this map, so it'll be interesting to see what they're going to run on it. Obviously you must feel pretty comfortable on it if you think that this is the map that is going to allow you to turn things around. Yeah, and that also just raises the question of like, what are you going to roll out on? Because Spectrum played the Junker Queen, I believe, on Oasis, and I do think that Junker Queen compositions can be good here on Colosseo. Probably not as good as Ramattra, solely because there's like a lot of long sightlines on Colosseo, so like you rather would probably have a tank that can do a bit more damage kind of coming into fights, whereas like Junker Queen is like, you gotta get up close and personal before you really find the value with that hero.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, I'm excited to see the DPS actually, because we have seen some Genjis. I always love. You know what? I'm not really that much of a Genji main anymore, but early years of Overwatch, I was definitely that Genji main. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I was that Genji main.
Oh, I love that for you. Surely you've grown, right?
Oh, I assure you, I have not.
So funny. Uh, yes, I do. I mean, Genji is fun, and Genji is actually seeing a lot more playtime kind of in the meta right now. Not not necessarily because he's just straight up like strong. Like Genji's not necessarily gonna win like the 1v1s against say like a Tracer or a Sojourn, or honestly even any of the supports now, because supports are so good at staying alive. But what Genji does do really well is Genji follows up on damage from his team really well. So a lot of times we'll see Genji being paired with like a Sojourn or an Echo or a Pharah, where these are heroes that have a lot of really quick burst damage, and then you are pretty much just playing Genji as a dash bot. You're looking to just dash in and confirm kills and then get out. And a lot of times it works really, really well.
Yeah, that's what Genji's really good at, I think, with the 50 damage Swift Strike. That thing is so good at confirming kills, especially that combo where you dash in and you do a right click. That basically, if they're anything below half health, it's just usually an instant kill, and there's not much they can do about it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's really it. It's like you're dead before you can even react to it. So, and that's the beauty of the Genji is really not allowing teams to have that kind of a mid fight. You want to find a pick first, or like early on, and just go from there.
Yeah, exactly. That being said,
I'm just looking.
I hate blading as Genji.
Oh no, I mean Genji Blade is like still not very good right now. It's just so hard. The supports, especially with the perks being added in, there are so many support perks that allow you to just like live longer. Some of the supports, such as like Brig has like Brig and Kiriko have perks that allow their healing to get to critical health allies faster. So one of the perks for Brig, if your target is critical, they get more burst healing when they get a pack. Or
right.
Kiriko has the Ofuda, they move faster. It's a faster travel time when your allies are critical. And even Juno has the minor perk that allows your pulsar torpedoes to lock onto your allies faster. So there's just the supports are really good at keeping people alive right now, which ultimately just means that Genji's gonna have a really hard time kind of finding those blade kills, because you're doing a lot of burst damage, but you're not doing the dash resets as much. You really need to combo the blade with something else to find value. I'm thinking like a Nano or even like a Tracer or a Winston, just somebody to help you to finish the kills.
Yeah, exactly. And I have noticed Genji, you know, he does have that perk where he gets lifesteal on his blade. So you can kind of stay alive a little bit, but I don't think, you know, when the trouble is you have to like get in and land a blade. You know, it's not like, how do I say this? It's not killing people with the blade that's the problem. It's just landing your first slash and then getting that chain off is the problem. Because you know you hit the first blade on, let's say, the Kiriko teleports off. Now what do you do?
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. Everybody can just kind of run away from the blade. It's so sad. Poor Genji.
Yeah.
Just being left in the dust. As all right, Colosseo, we're here. It's happening.
Ooh, has it?
Yeah, interesting. We do have a couple of heroes being hovered over. We do have some swaps that have happened as well. So Zarkmon is back over onto the support. We have Linadex coming in on the DPS for the side of Silver Star Surfers. Ordinary on that tank. On the side of Spectrum, we do have Marlowe here coming in on the support, and Richard is also in on support. Eris has now moved over onto the tank, so some adjustments being made here. We do still have Q and YOLO. Oh, you know what? I'm wondering, I'm realizing that this person is probably not named YOLO. They are Yo Lobsters. So sorry, Yo Lobsters on the Tracer for Spectrum. I have been missing an entire half of your name there. But, all right, teams are meeting in the middle here. Nice nade will connect on to Eris, but not a whole lot of follow-up. The Hazard Ball
Actually, Hazard kind of walling themselves in there, and unfortunately, you walled yourself in with a Brigitte gonna be able to find that final blow, and
with the tank down for Silver Star Surfers, it's gonna be hard for them to push forward. Nice pick though from Talelu onto Richards, so without the Brigitte, it's a little bit less healing, but Spectrum does still have Marlowe on that Ana, so big heals are still available. However, the numbers advantage is going to go over towards Silver Star Surfers. Zarkmon falling very low. Q doing a lot of work on this. Cassidy has already built up to that Deadeye. You see aggression coming through from Ordinary at the block. Spike Guard going to be able to help kill that Cassidy over on the side. But now Ordinary way out of position, and Eris is going to recognize that. Collapse onto that Hazard bot. Still pushing forward here for Spectrum, and we can see Eris is looking to push up and take even more space, falling quite low there, but you do have the Brig and you have the Ana still alive here. Now, we do have the Deadeyes available for both teams. Nano gonna be available here for Spectrum as well. Ordinary, yeah, good sleep. The nade there to follow up as well. Ordinary falling so low. Yeah, uses the downpour, actually ends up getting canceled. That's really unfortunate for the side of Silver Star Surfers, as it's all red in the kill feed. Looking to just finish up to Lelu. Q finding a couple of headshots there, cleaning up the DPS line from Silver Star Surfers. Now, that's really big for Spectrum because you didn't use any ultimates and you got an ultimate out from Silver Star Surfers. Now, Ordinary swapping over, gonna match on this Ramattra now, so not looking to play that Hazard anymore. This is a good opportunity for Silver Star Surfers to come back into it, but the checkpoint was picked up here, and as I mentioned before we got into Colosseo, once you get the bot to where you want it to be, you can back up a little bit. That's exactly what Spectrum does. They back out, you come back in with that Nemesis form from Eris, with that rally from Richards. Really nice stuff, trapping Ordinary in a corner. All right, and the bot still moving forward here. You only use the rally from Spectrum. It's looking so good here for them on this push map.
Big ults coming in from both teams though. 4 ults on both sides.
Yeah, crucially too, it's the difference in the annihilation here. Oh, okay, actually, Lindex gonna open things up here. Yo Lobsters falling to that Tracer. The Pulse Bomb is gonna be committed from Lindex. Does not commit on to anything. Nemesis form here from Ordinary, gonna allow them to just punch right through that Ramattra's shield, find the head or the punch there onto Q, and there we go. Finally, it feels like Silver Star Surfers coming alive in this composition. And, you know, you didn't really have to use too much there, but you don't have the Pulse Bomb, and you're not going to have the Annihilation to match Eris's Annihilation.
I believe that was only the Pulse Bomb being used as well, so that was actually very great ult economy. Just using the ult to win the fight. Ordinary probably will get his ult back up by the time, you know, already on 90%, he's probably going to have it up ready. That being said, can't use it if you're dead.
Yeah, exactly. We did see the Pulse Bomb stick onto Talelu while they were using that Deadeye, so you don't even have the time to kind of cancel the Deadeye, use the shift, because Cassidy actually can survive through a Pulse Bomb as long as you have your combat roll available, but obviously not going to be able to roll when you're holding that Deadeye. And as soon as Silver Star Surfers take control of this bot, it feels like Spectrum knocking them down a peg, taking this bot back, still moving forward. Eris getting very aggressive. Nemesis form out is going to commit the Annihilation. Nice nade onto Ordinary, but Ordinary has their own Annihilation, and actually the Nano from Maka going to be available here. However, Eris has picked up the kill onto Darkmon. Maka now gone as well, so no supports here from the side of Silver Star Surfers. Not going to matter from the side of Spectrum, not going to matter too much, and yeah, that's it. The bot pushed forward quite a bit here, and finally, I mean, Silver Star Surfers are back in control of this bot, but we gotta see just how far they can push this before Spectrum once again come back in and potentially win a fight.
That was great. Just ult for ult for ult for ult. That's exactly what I wanted to see. You know, Spectrum trying to cash out everything they have just so they can get the final point, but just a little bit too far.
Yeah, that's a good point. So as Spectrum are coming into this, you're going to have this Deadeye, you're gonna have the Pulse Bomb shortly here for your Lobsters. Ordinary finding the better of Eris, gonna be able to find the kill onto Marlo as well. However, Q trying to change things around to Leilu, the Cassidy from the side of Silver Star Surfer, shutting that Deadeye down from Q, and it's gonna be the team kill coming out from Silver Star Surfers, and this is it. This is what they needed. You need to win a couple of fights in a row so that you can get this bot moving forward, because you have such a long way to go if you want to catch up and surpass Spectrum on this defense. Spectrum is now set up on this high ground as well, so you're feeling pretty comfortable up here. You're going to be able to just rain down a lot of damage into Silver Star Surfers, who have no choice but to push this payload forward, or sorry, this bot forward. Laid out from Marlo, it connects onto Zarkon, and immediately Spectrum finding the kills that they need. Excellent patience, holding up on that high ground, waiting for cooldowns to come out, and then engaging with the cooldowns of your own. And although a little bit of progress here for Silver Star Surfers, yeah, once again, Spectrum back in control of this robot.
Yep, that was just great by Eris. Managing to get 2 immediately. That was really well played by them.
Yeah, it looks like we'll be able to get that checkpoint as well. Very aggressive here from Ordinary. It's gonna make enough space for Talelu to find the pick up onto Richards. Talelu gonna find Marlo as well. Both supports now down for the side of Spectrum and Silver Star Surfers. Yeah, Q not done just yet. Gonna find the kill onto Talelu as well. It's just clean up here for the no, he's actually not gonna get out with his life. Ordinary's chasing that Cassidy down, and now Spectrum have the numbers here. You actually have 4 back in the fight now, so Silver Star Surfers have the bot in their control, but you might not have the numbers. It's gonna be the Kitsune Rush committed here. Nice cleanse, gonna stop that purple from coming over on to Ordinary.
Wow.
Form out as well. Yeah, Eris is gonna find the better of Ordinary, but in the meanwhile, a little bit of trades coming through from Silver Star Surfers, but ultimately the bot still in control. Nice trade. Eris pops the Annihilation, immediately shut down. Talelu with the nano. Yeah, finds 2. Q though, gonna pick up that kill. It's the supports for the side of Silver Star Surfers alive on the point. Unfortunately, Maka gonna fall to the whip shot of Richards, and although you now have Ordinary back into this fight, you do not have any supports. It's gonna be Silver Star Surfers just backing up. 3 members alive for Spectrum. You're gonna have the backup of Eris and Marlo very shortly here. And this is beautiful because you just wait. You see the patience here. Spectrum is just waiting a little bit until you have all 5 members, because of course the spawn advantage in the favor of Silver Star Surfers. Nice sleep there from Maka. Finds that sleep dart onto Q. Linedek's gonna finish that off. It's the rally here from Richards. Yeah, trying to stabilize, trying to trade. You will find the trade onto Ordinary. That's excellent. First trade. Yo Lobster gonna pick up Zarkmon as well, and even though it's a bit of back and forth, I mean, Spectrum looking very strong here, but Silver Star Surfers do essentially have the spawn advantage. So if you can find enough picks, Talelu trying to keep Silver Star Surfers in this, but there's still a Brig and a Cassidy, and you actually still have your Lobsters alive as well on this Tracer. So no tank for the side of Spectrum, but still a lot of damage potential. Annihilation! No! Again! We see the pulse bomb come out onto the ulting Cassidy. It just absolutely shuts down that Deadeye. I think the Deadeye came out to try and counter that Annihilation from Ordinary, so good heads up play from Linedex to trade out that pulse bomb and save potentially their Ramatra's life. We're getting into the nitty gritty here. Down 20 seconds less than. And Silver Star Surfers just have an absolute marathon that they're gonna have to run to try and get this bot out. It's gonna start off with a kill from Talelu onto Eris. So no tank now for Spectrum. Q though gonna pick up 2. Yo Lobster's gonna pick them up, and the DPS for the side of Spectrum absolutely shutting things down.
Wow.
Nice little celebratory nano, and that is gonna be Spectrum picking up Colosseo.
Yeah, well played to Spectrum there. Just getting the bot so far, and then once it's already up that far, you know, you don't have to close it out. You can just play back a little bit. You know, just stop him real quick, and you don't have to push up that far, and so you don't have to get up. You don't have
Yeah.
to make it harder for yourself, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Really good restraint being shown from Spectrum, recognizing that, you know, once you're in control and you have like enough space to work with, you can just regroup. Soft regroup, of course. Just kind of back up. Wait. Takes a lot of patience. And all right, Spectrum. Here it is. This is you trying to start the reverse sweep. I like it. Winning out on your map pick here, but this does mean that now it is going to be the turn of Silver Star Surfers to pick a map.
Yeah, I'm a bit. You know, Spectrum was playing so well. It seems like they have a few maps prepped, but then on the maps that they don't really have any prep on, they kind of struggle a bit. You can see Spectrum was really confident in their comp. They didn't switch off at all, even though they lost a couple fights. They stayed their comp, so they obviously know what their base idea is, which is right from there.
Yeah, that's a good point. It almost looks like a 180 for this Spectrum team, looking so absolutely dominant on Colosseo, where maybe they were struggling a little bit before. I like Eris on this tank. I think that was very helpful. Having Marlowe in on that Ana seemed to be really impactful as well. Some really nice sleeps, some really nice nades coming out. Yeah, so we'll see what they can get done on this next map pick that is going to be the Silver Star Surfers. It will be an escort map for our map 4. Escort map options, we have Circuit, we have Havana, and we have Rialto. So looking at these 3 maps, these are 3 very long sightline maps. What actually I think could play into the favor of Spectrum, because that's exactly what Colosseo was, and they played that really, really well. So honestly, any of these 3 maps, it could be an opportunity for Spectrum to put up a pretty good fight.
Yeah. And I think these 3 all banger maps, by the way. Love Havana, love Rialto. I think I'm okay with Circuit. I don't mind it. But yeah, again, there's just those long sightlines. It's so fun to play around with me being a DPS player as well. You know, some days I go Widowmaker to see if my aim's up to par. Usually isn't. usually I'm just whipping everything. So then, you know, after they capture the first point, I switch back to like a Genji or something, switch back to a Tracer.
Oh,
but
yeah,
that's, you know, the first point is always fun to try and get some shots in.
Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. So Spectrum. All right, this is the Silver Star Surfers have picked the map here. So we will be heading into Havana for our 4th map. One of the things I like to note about Havana, and also Circuit actually to a degree, is that when you come into these maps, when we were looking at Colosseo, although we were seeing like a lot of the DPS players kind of showing up in the kill feed, a lot of those maps kind of come down to how your tank is playing, how much space is being created by your tank, because that's really what's going to allow your DPS to kind of pop off and have enough, you know, patience and safety that they can really just focus on the aim. Now, when we come into Circuit and Havana, there's a little bit less kind of focus on the tank gameplay, because these maps are a lot more kind of like corridor-like. There's not as many kind of flank angles, not as many lanes on the sides like we see on like Colosseo, or even on Rialto also has a few more kind of side lanes to play in. So it really is going to come down to the DPS players here on Havana, and just going to be who is going to be able to hit their shots, who's going to get their positioning set up, you know, safe enough that you're not being pressured by the enemy. And I have to say, I mean, the DPS from Spectrum really did feel like they were coming alive there. So this is looking pretty promising for Spectrum. But, of course, this was Silver Star Surfers map pick. So you know that they have to have, you know, something up their sleeve or some kind of confidence to take us into this map.
Yeah, Q last map was just doing so great on the Cassidy. Just, yeah, there's so much. He's getting so much value with the dinks, and getting so much.
Yeah.
There's just so much. Every time you see him, he's just closing out a kill. You know, you're not really seeing him doing. You're not seeing him do a bunch of damage, but you are seeing him closing out those kills. That after Eris gets all the damage in, Q comes in, gets a random dink, kills somebody, and then the fight's basically over.
Yep. That's what it comes down to, and that's what it's going to come down to here on Havana, too. So we are just waiting to get the R's from both teams. See if there are letting them maybe get some swaps in potentially as well. Yeah, I think we will have Silver Star Surfers starting on the defense, I believe. And I think that is their choice. I believe that's their choice. If you get the map pick, you can pick which side you're on first. But I mean, either way, you're gonna have to play both sides, whether you start on the defense or if you want to start on the attack. Yeah, this is you got to do both.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, but you know, like I said earlier, I always like starting on the defense if I can. I'll always ask for it. Being on defense just, I think it just lets you have that little bit of control over, even though, you know, maybe you might get rolled, but whatever. You know, at least you got rolled and you know that you have to cap 3, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I do have to say, sometimes it's nice to start on the attack because, like, the attacking team, you can just go back and swap your composition really quickly, so you can adjust really quickly. But like that's still ultimately just gonna like be like one fight win. Like on Havana, for like example here, like sometimes we'll see like the defending team kind of start and with like a spawn hold. Like we've seen some Reinhardts with like the Mei, and you just hold really, really close and just try to stop the attacking team from even coming out of spawn. But the counter to that is you just go back into spawn and you just swap to like a pharmacy and you just try to get damage in onto the bunker comp. Obviously you end up usually kind of swapping off of that, but it just goes to show that like being able to kind of swap your heroes on a dime is definitely an advantage. Especially, I mean, Overwatch has always been a game about counter swaps, right?
Yeah. It's all, you know, that's part of, I'm gonna be honest, that's part of the reason why I just kind of fell away from Overwatch. I think it became way too much about the counter picks, but now with the introduction of these perks, I think it's a lot more interesting. It's a lot more, you know, I see supports, again, just staying alive for so long, getting so much value. It's less, you know, if the supports are staying alive for so long, the you know, the Pharahs can't really kill them that easily, you know, so I think it's a really great pick having to, and I believe they did pivot from, because originally there was a perk system for the single player mode for Overwatch, which they did scrap, which they've pivoted and turned into this, which I think, you know, I'm still kind of mad that there's no single player mode, or you know, PvE was what it was supposed to be, not single player, sorry, but I'm glad they at least, there's like a remnant of it, you know.
Yeah, that's so true. It's at least a way to customize the way that you play, because like you said, like the counter swaps can be kind of frustrating. There's a little bit more incentive now that we have these perks to like maybe not counter swap as much, because of course if you counter swap, you are losing your perk status, so you will keep it for the hero that you swapped off of. So if you are a level 2 perks on Tracer and then you want to swap off and you're going to move over onto Pharah, you are going to start at like level 0 again with no perks. But if you swap back over onto the Tracer, you will at least have those, at least in the same half. Obviously we lose them all when we swap sides, but it does add a little bit more interest here as we got the R's from both teams. We are headed into our map 4. It has been Silver Star Surfers map pick. They have taken us to Havana over, and they also are going to be starting on the defense here, so doors haven't opened yet. Teams just pondering what they might select. And you know, Brocky, I'd love to see some Widowmaker here on Havana.
Oh. I hope for it every day. Every time it's Havana, yes! Widow!
Well. Okay, so I mean, the attacking teams, we don't know for 100% that this is what they will have, but I mean, Silver Star Surfers are on the defense here. We do have Linadex locked in on that Widowmaker, Mayo on the Sojourn, Ordinaries on that Sigma, and then for the backline we have the Zen and the Baptiste from Zarkmon and Maka. So playing that double flex support, which we do often see on these longer sight range maps. Of course, you're not really gonna get as much dive, so Zarkmon doesn't really have to play the Brig to try and protect Maka on that flex support. So you have your main support move over on to the Zen for extra damage in these poke compositions. Here we have it. Doors have open. Q is locked in on this Widowmaker. We have the Sigma as well. Eris on that hero. Yo Lobsters on the Ashe here. And then again, we have the Zen back line for the side of Spectrum. Richards on that Zenyatta. So some shots coming out from these Widowmakers. Not quite connecting just yet. Nice rock there from Ordinary. And there we go. Opening shot, Linadex. Gonna find that headshot onto Q. That is a lot of just pressure, honestly. Damage and pressure out from Spectrum. Linadex gonna pick up a second one there. Eris does find Mayo. However, you've already lost both of your DPS here if you're Spectrum, so you want to just play slow for a little bit. Maybe not too slow, though, because you do have the spawn advantage here. Nice rock here from Ordinary, and the Discord Orb from Zarkmon immediately the follow-up. Eris falling there. Linadex again gonna pick up another headshot. This time it's Richards who's being sent back to the spawn queue. All right, here's a little bit of revenge for you, Linadex. Q gonna pick up that headshot, and Ordinary is pushed up so far here. Manages to find a kill onto Marlowe. Gonna be able to back out the Discord Orb while taking him so low. Meanwhile, though, Yo Lobster, sorry, yeah, I've corrected this. Gonna fall to Mayo. And here we go, Linadex, because of all that damage built up to these sites already, gonna go ahead and pop that in. Yeah, Spectrum, you can see that they're just hiding in a corner, right? You don't want to peek a Widow with sights, especially Linadex, who's been hitting headshots.
Yeah, exactly. Q has swapped over to that Tracer, so probably trying to avoid the Widow v Widow duel.
Yep. Cool.
Unfortunately,
Q, yep, gonna meet the same fate from Mayo finding that headshot onto the Tracer. Okay, Ordinary does commit the Gravitic Flux there, doesn't quite find anything, but it does get the Transcendence out from Richards. Mayo now going aggressive with this overclock. Gonna find one, gonna find the second on Yo Lobsters, and wow. Silver Star Surfers are really putting up a heck of a defense here. You used a lot of ultimates, but you're still holding on to both those support ultimates, so that's pretty good, especially because Eris does have a Gravitic Flux of their own. So we'll see if Zarkmon is able to use the Transcendence, or even maybe just the Lamp from Maka. It's all about the timing here with these the supports.
That's a lot of ults.
Yeah, the window there from Marlowe. Nice little angle. Eris is gonna use that. Wow, okay, nice. Yeah, gonna take out Linadex here. Q not done yet. Gonna pick up Mayo as well. Yo Lobsters finding a couple for themselves, and yeah, it was an ult dump here, but it is going to go the way of Spectrum, and really just in time because 60 seconds on the clock here. It looks like Silver Star Surfers are positioning for a potential touch here. They're not quite sure about who's gonna do it. It is gonna be the slide in from Mayo. We have Maka supporting on the side. Linadex also supporting in their own right. We'll find that headshot onto Marlowe. Okay, here we go though. The touch actually is coming through. Ordinary able to get there, but yeah, Maka has to push out of that window, and then you don't have the extra healing. Wow, and just as we were kind of running out of time there, it will be Spectrum finally picking up the first point of Havana.
Yeah, that was really good from Spectrum. Somehow, Zarkmon was just on the flank there, flanking Zenyatta. He has no footsteps, so he is the ultimate flank character, of course, but not able. Oh my goodness, Linadex.
Oh, this is why we love to see some Widowmaker, especially a Widowmaker that's hitting these just really impressive shots. That's going to be one more here for the side of Silver Star Surfers. We see Mayo take a very aggressive angle on this Sojourn, and yeah, Eris has spotted them out. Let's see if the team from Silver Star Surfers are able to keep them alive. No, it's a nice rock there from Eris, and then just the bop on the head to finish off the Sojourn for the side of Silver Star Surfers. This is a good reaction from them, though. The team Silver Star Surfers just gonna back up a little bit. Eris is getting very aggressive here. Yeah, the Discord Orb is over on to Ordinary. You'd love to be able to get a stagger kill if you're Starch, but unfortunately Linadex hitting those shots. Okay, does actually pay for it though.
Cancel
so Eris
the ult.
find that. The cancel.
Lost his ult. Double cancel.
Oh my gosh, both the Sigmas hitting each other with the rocks, shutting down the ult 1-for-1. We do have the Transcendence available for Richards here, going to be able to keep Spectrum alive in this, and with the Discord Orb over onto Ordinary. Unfortunately, the Sigma not long for this world, and wow, just a crazy fight happening here, but it does ultimately mean that Spectrum going to be able to pick up the second point of Havana. All 5 players for both teams alive here.
Well,
Yep, spoke too soon. Goodbye, Linadex. Transcendence forced out from Zarkon here, but it's a little late. Ordinary's still gonna follow the lamp, also a little bit late, and now it is just Spectrum rolling through, trying to find a couple more stagger kills. Gotta be really careful though, because you do only have Richards pushed up here. Marlowe on the point, pushing things forward. Now coming into this next fight, you do have the window and the overclock available for Silver Star Surfers. Disruptor Field onto Marlowe, and the perk there for Mayo that the Disruptor Field actually will stick onto their target, so even if you hide, it's gonna follow you. Window out, overclock out as well. Wow.
Yeah.
Mayo, yeah, that's really big from Q. Marlowe goes in for the slide, immediately gets shut down. Here we go, it's gonna be the window committed.
Goodness.
That is a big flop, and they're not able to stay alive through it. But you did get out the Transcendence, I guess, so you have a chance here for Silver Star Surfers to come back into it, but you've got no ultimates to work with.
Oh, that's a big stagger, actually.
Yep, Linadex will find Q. Okay, Mayo has swapped over onto the Venture here.
Oh!
Oh no! Rocky, are we ever going to see a Gravitic Flux completed? I'm really questioning.
We've seen 4 Sigma ults. None of them have actually been able to get a proper ult off.
Oh, it's just absolutely heartbreaking to see, and we saw Ordinary briefly swap over onto the Wrecking Ball, but I think that was just for the touch. Back over onto the Sigma now. Mayo, though, is going to stick on this Venture. I like Venture for this third point. I think that it's a much more enclosed space. Venture does a lot of really good burst damage up front. Gonna go in on Eris, gets them about half. Pulse Bomb out. Oh my goodness, it's the Rock to follow up. Richards actually turns to shield off the Pulse Bomb, immediately gets hit in the back of the head with the Rock from Ordinary. Transcendence here from Zarkmon to keep everybody alive through this Bob from Yo Lobsters that has on a very, very nice angle here. Mayo getting a lot of value on this Venture. Q does have the overclock. Not going to be able to find anything as Mayo gonna go ahead and pick up 2 to finish things off, and it's a valiant effort here from Spectrum, but they aren't quite able to pick up that third point.
Yeah, well played by Spectrum. They're getting it that far, because I thought they were gonna be able to full hold that, but Spectrum able to carry that momentum through all the way up until just not getting the third point. But you know, that was well played by both teams.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Seeing, I mentioned this before we came into Havana, like, Havana does really feel sometimes like it's like really on your DPS, and like right now, Silver Star Surfers, Linadex looking so good on this Widowmaker, but I think that Q and Yo Lobsters were coming alive a little bit in the end there. Kind of once you got the swap off of the Widowmaker and you're playing just, you know, play to your own strengths here. Sure, everybody wants to take the Widow duel, but sometimes it's just not worth doing. You can find value on a different hero, and that's exactly what Spectrum did. Not quite able to finish out the map, but it definitely did help a significant amount in getting that first and second point. Oh,
we are seeing a Reinhardt though in 2025. That's crazy.
So I mentioned that sometimes teams like to do a really close spawn hold on Havana, and lo and behold, we have a Reinhardt, we have a Mei. I suspect a spawn hold.
3, 2, 1. Attackers in.
Everybody just crouch, walking, trying to be as sneaky as possible, but it actually kind of seems like Silver Star Surfers are expecting this. They've rolled out on the Bastion. They have the Orisa as well, so a lot of burst damage. This is going to be able to burn it down Eris's shield, but not if your Bastion is back in the spawn. Nice headshot there from Yo Lobster. pick up their headshot as well as shutting down that Widowmaker. And although it seems okay, some swaps here, swaps coming out.
Oh,
For the
in the spawn.
Oh
That
no,
one was in the
that's
spawn. Oh my goodness.
that is just mean, Eris. That's so mean. We do have the Pharah swap from Mayo here, so this is I alluded to this as well. Sometimes you'll swap over onto the Pharah, just trying to do some burst damage in, and it's working quite well because the Spectrum's getting very split here. It just comes down to finding these finishing kills, and as now that you have Spectrum kind of all grouped up, it's gonna be a little bit harder. Gonna start with a kill on 2Q. I don't know if that's going to be enough to break this spawn hold though, because the Cassidy will be able to get back, not super quickly, but they'll be able to get back into effective range a little bit faster than, say, a Mei. Looks like Spectrum kind of want to... Yeah, like they kind of want to back up, but like they're just playing a little bit split. I guess they're waiting for the window here. Marlowe going to go ahead and commit that. We do have the Shatter available for Eris as well. It's going to be the Kitsune rush here from Richards layering on top just as that window expires. The Transcendence here from Zarkmon going to tank that pin from Eris. Going to be able to stay alive. Nice. Shatter comes out. Wow. It connects onto Zarkmon, but nice job from Mayo to find that kill. Oh, I guess it was actually Lindedex that finds that final blow onto Eris. And now, finally, it feels like Silver Star Surfers are breaking the spawn hold, but dang, like you had to, you burned a lot of time off the clock. You had to commit that annihilation as well.
Hey, but same thing happened in the first side from Spectrum, so you know, anything could happen.
Yeah, that's right. So so Spectrum are coming into this. You've got both DPS ultimates here. The Blizzard could be really impactful. If you can kind of bait everybody on the point. Mayo though has that barrage ready. Finds the kill onto Richards here, so the Kiriko already out of the fight. However, Mayo is gonna pay for that with their life, and Eris so very low on this Reinhardt. Ordinary trying so hard to get the damage done, but Q is there for the side of Spectrum. Gonna pick up 2 kills. Yo Lobster gonna pick up 1 as well, and you didn't use any of the ultimates that you had. If you're Spectrum, we will see. Wow, we got time being burned off, just like you said, Rocky. It's just like the first half. Now, okay, Silver Star Surfers moving back over onto this Bastion. Maka has the window. Lindedex is going to have this overclock too. Zarkmon will be able to build up to this Transcendence as well, but the Deadeye... Ooh, okay, wow, no. Gonna pull the Deadeye right away. They're getting a little bit scared because Mayo on this Bastion has the form ready, trying to just do a little bit of damage. Here we go, window out. Transcendence gonna be layered on top of that as well. We see Ordinary getting very, very aggressive here, but the Transcendence expires, the window comes through. They're able to just absolutely melt the tank for the side of Silver Star Surfers. Now it is time to dump some ultimates. If you're Spectrum, the rush is out, the Blizzard is out. You are holding on to this Earth Shatter. I don't know if anybody from Silver Star Surfers is actually going to be able to get the touch because Mayo dies before the overtime's triggered. Yep.
Wow.
There we go.
Spectrum there.
Spectrum! Tying us up! This is it! They're looking for the reverse sweep here and now, taking this 4th map, making us go to the 5th map. Play of the game will be going over to Ordinary for Silver Star Surfers. I have to say they did... Yeah, they put up a really good defense. They just really struggled on this offense, and I think that it's this Reinhardt Mei composition that came out from Spectrum that just kind of caught them off guard, and Spectrum did a really good job of, like, this is what you love to see when you're running these spawn holds, is that you stay alive long enough to build up your ultimates. So you build up to that Blizzard, you build up to that Deadeye as well, and then you're just holding on to those, and nice disengagement. Once Silver Star Surfers did actually break through, Spectrum did a good job of not getting staggered after that, so you're able to come back in for another fight.
Yeah, now Yuzhong City is our new map. I do like Flashpoint, actually. I didn't like it when it first came in. Again, one of those things, you know, you don't like change. I didn't like it when the first came in. But then, you know, I played a few games on it. It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun.
Yeah! Oh, I totally agree. I'm right there with you. Like, when Flashpoint came out, I was a certified hater. I thought that it was ridiculous and that, oh my gosh, why do I spend so much of my time running around the map? Why are these maps so big and just massive? And I never know where the next point's gonna be. But, yeah, honestly, Flashpoint's probably my favorite map type now. I'm not gonna lie. Like, New Junk City is great. Surabasa, I think, is like my favorite map in the entire game. I just love the way that Flashpoint plays, and there's so much like ebb and flow that like this is such a good example of like teamwork, because you absolutely cannot be a feeder on Flashpoint because the points tick up so quickly that you need to reset as a team just to get enough fights in.
Yeah, it's literally like a point is usually just 1 or 2 team fights, and then that's it. You know, you lose a team fight rather late, and you just kind of, you gotta secede that point.
Yeah, exactly. I am excited to see this. Map 5, oh my gosh, so fun from these two teams. Spectrum really coming alive here, showing us that that championship roster, well, not the roster, but the championship energy from season 3 here in season 4, getting us started off. What a beautiful way to do this. Yeah, this is week 1, right? So like this is just the start of this season and we're already getting like banger matches like this. That's really awesome.
Don't let me down, please. Spectrum and down. You know, you come so far. Don't just let Silver Star Surfers. I'll be honest. I think we're meant to be unbiased. I'm rooting for Spectrum now. I'm rooting for Spectrum.
I was rooting for Spectrum for the last 2 maps. Now it's anyone's game. We've come to a map 5. That's all I really care about. So now it's down to it. I mean, yeah, we will see as the teams are ready to go. We will be heading into New Junk City. We did have a couple of swaps here as well. So we actually have Arya coming in on the support here for Spectrum. It will be Marlowe heading out. So we'll have Eris still on the tank. Yo Lobster's Q on the DPS for Spectrum, and then Richards and Arya on that support line. No swaps here for Silver Star Surfers, so we still have Mayo on the tank. Ordinary and Talelu. Oh, actually, okay, we do have Ordinary moving over to DPS. No, Ordinary was on DPS last map. Yeah, okay. Ordinary and Talelu still on the DPS, and then Zarkmon and Maka on the support. So, all right, this is it right here. Right now, let's see if Spectrum can complete this reverse sweep, or if Silver Star Surfers are going to put themselves back in the driver's seat and finish this series out.
Yeah, hopefully they can. I'm just noticing as well, as I am famously Australian, and New Junk City famously in Australia. So a lot of the signs here are actually Australian signs, like these. On the big sign where it says the hammer mill, the no entry, and the kangaroo sign, those are real signs that you'd find out on the freeways and on the highways. Because you know, the
I love it. I remember looking at New Junk.
Oh, sorry, you
like
go.
a kangaroo, like is that a kangaroo warning sign? Is that what it's warning you of?
They're dumber than deers, I'll tell you that much. They love
and like
running into
3
your
times
car.
as big. Oh no. Oh no. Alright, speaking of running into things, we have Q finding the first opening pick here, but immediately Mayo gonna turn things around, find that pick on into Arya. Eris picking up the kill on Amaka though, so that's a lot of healing now gone for Silver Star Surfers. You just have Zarkmon, who does get actually hacked up here. The Regina trying so hard to stay alive. Mayo gonna be able to peel for their support. The point now unlocked. Let's see which one of these teams gonna be able to pick up the first kill. So far looking pretty darn good for Spectrum as Arya finds Mayo. No tank available here for Silver Star Surfers, and that will be the first point flip. Yep, gonna go the way of Spectrum here. So we have a couple of swaps coming in. We will have Ordinary on that Reaper now. Oh, a nice punch here from Mayo. Absolutely slams Arya into the wall. Gonna finish off that kill with a little punch to the face. Yo Lobsters though, gonna pick up to Talelu. Maka gone from the fight. Unfortunately, that means Zarkmon again gonna have to try and keep their team alive. Mayo has the Meteor Strike going, punches in, trying to find this kill onto Yo Lobsters, but the Tracer a little bit too slippery for the Doomfist, and that is gonna be Silver Star Surfers flipping this point over. 47% gained here for Spectrum, and Spectrum also building up to quite a few ultimates here, including
that EMP, not quite online yet. It will be the Coalescence here from Richards. Starting things off, gonna find the kill onto Maka. Meanwhile, Ordinary does find Arya, but otherwise it's all Spectrum all the time. Q trying to find that kill on to Ordinary. Won't quite be able to find it, but it does not matter. Spectrum gonna go ahead, pick up that point flip, and we're back over. This is a lot of back and forth here. Spectrum coming, or trying to hold on to this. You've got both those DPS ultimates. You're gonna have the Annihilation as well. Now, for the side of Silver Star Surfers, we got the rally coming out from
Wow.
Oh! Ordinary. Gonna go ahead, pick up that Death Blossom.
Well,
Oh,
that's-
apologies. We seem to be on the map screen right now.
Oh.
Yeah, casting the map screen. That's tragic.
Production. That's
Production
my bad.
moment.
That's my bad.
We're trying to do too much all at once.
Yeah, production and casting. Oh my goodness, I have a split mind right now.
All right, well, welcome in everybody. Here we go. You get to see New Junk City. You don't just have to listen to the radio broadcast. And we are on this first point. It's taking up to almost 99 to 99. Q goes in with the EMP, hits all 5 members of Silver Star Surfers. Immediately the backline disintegrates. Talelu is gonna pick up the Tracer kill, but it's just not enough. And that's gonna be the first point picked up here by Spectrum. Bomb Flats gonna be our second sub map here.
I
Our
do
second
like this
flat.
area. It reminds me. What does it remind me of? It's a very familiar control point. It reminds me
Yeah.
of 2CP. You know, this is the kind of
Uh-huh.
style of
Yeah.
point you'd have on 2CP.
Yeah, like a lot of open space, kind of looking down into it. Kind of second point Hanamura-esque.
Yeah, exactly.
We do have the brawl kind of happening on the side here. And the sleep connects onto Eris. Eris is immediately going to respond to that with an Annihilation. Arya has that beat available, does connect on to herself and Richards and Eris. And that is going to allow Spectrum to stay alive. Ooh, okay, Arya and Richards actually getting hit with the charged up punch there from Mayo, but it's not gonna matter. The team kill comes through for the side of Spectrum, who are now firmly in control of this point, plus 20% and gaining. For Silver Star Surfers, Ordinary has built up to this Death Blossom again. We saw really great value from the last Death Blossom that came through. Maka's gonna have the Nano as well. Pulse Bomb Stick gone to Zarkmon, gone immediately. Here's the Death Blossom, here's the Nano. Heck, the Coalescence trying to fight this Nanoed Reaper, but it's just not gonna be enough. And there's a little bit of a scuffle happening on point. Q still alive, trying to squeeze as much percentage out of this as possible. 67% here for Spectrum. Not too bad.
Yeah, not too bad at all. That's it. Again, 67%. Wow, that was fast. I feel like that was
Yep.
a quick team fight as well.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah. So, all right, so Spectrum doesn't have any ultimates to work with, but you are at least, you're coming into this with almost the EMP online. Nade from Maka does connect onto Arya. Zarkmon going ahead and getting the rally going. Nice sleep, but Yo Lobsters does have that recall to stay alive. The stray Moira Orb gonna pick up the kill onto Maka. Eris gonna find Zarkmon as well, so now Silver Star Surfers are not working with any supports. Already Mayo's so low, and now just the DPS alive for the side of Silver Star Surfers. A little recall coming out from Talelu, trying their best to, again, get as much percentage as possible, right? But that's going to be the kill coming through from Q, and 89% on the board for Silver Star Surfers, but Spectrum's back in control, and Spectrum has an EMP. Q was able to hit 5 people with this last EMP, so we'll see what they can do. The punch, Arya getting slammed into the wall by Mayo.
Oh,
EMP. It finds 2. Q picks up a couple of kills as well, but Mayo wasn't caught in that EMP. Gonna be able to find Q and Richards for their troubles. It's a just Eris, the lone Ramantra on the point here, falling very low.
Gonna go ahead, pop this Annihilation. Yeah, Arya is back in the fight as well, so you have the Lucio to try and sustain you through this, but the Lucio not gonna be able to do enough heals against the Doomfist and the Tracer. You have Richards back into
great
it.
punch.
Wow, what a punch, and the Pulse Bomb just to finish things off. The Pulse Bombs from Yo Lobster gonna find Mayo, so no tank available for either side. It's a 4v3 on the point, however. Point is going to be flipped over to Silver Star Surfers here. Ordinary on the point has this Death Blossom available should they so need it. Overtime has been triggered. It's 99 to 99 on Bomb Flats here. Coalescence in. Ooh, the Blossom comes out, but yeah, the fade is actually there for Richard, so able to just deny any value from that Death Blossom. Yo Lobster is going to be able to finish off that Reaper, and now it is a 5v1 on the point. Just Zarkmon trying to stay alive. That'll be Spectrum picking up the second point, taking us to a potential match point.
Wow, Q and Yo Lobsters there, just doing such a great job of staying alive. And Riches as well. They were just staying alive, waiting for Eris to come back with as a tank. And that was just really great, really well played by them.
I have to say, Spectrum getting very aggressive here. This actually is the spawn for Silver Star Surfer, so you probably don't want to stick around here too long.
Point over that way, guys.
Yeah, just end up kind of gravitating towards wherever the enemies are. Just take a fight. This will be Spectrum getting set up on Refinery first here. Looks like they actually will be able to get to the first flip as well. Ordinary is over on the May now, so not on the Reaper, and as it actually is quite a bit altered. The hack comes in. Arya's gonna have the beat to try and get aggressive on top of that hack. It will help quite a bit as Q is able to find that kill on to Mayo. Picking up Maka as well. You lose out Yo Lobsters on this Tracer, but honestly, if you can just try and sustain through this, Yo Lobsters as a Tracer, you're gonna be able to get back into this fight pretty quickly.
Wow, this whole time the point is ticking up for Spectrum as well.
Yeah, and Spectrum, you only use the beat there. Like, you're gonna have both your DPS ults. Eris is gonna have the Annihilation as well. However, okay, Pulse Bomb in from Yo Lobsters doesn't quite connect on to anything. And actually, the punch in from Mayo, the Nano, gonna be able to follow up, keep this Doomfist pushing forward. EMP in. Well, absolutely beautiful. Finds 3, finds the manual hack onto Maka as well. Ordinary throws out the Blizzard just in desperation. It does catch 2 here, but only 2 people alive here for the side of Silver Star Surfer. Somebody's got to touch the point. Okay, you do get the touch. It is going to be Mayo just kind of punching through on this Doomfist, but it's 4v1. Mayo holding on to this punch. Immediately going to get melted down. The rally available for Zarkmon. Gonna be able to get a touch with it, but it's just too much damage from the side of Spectrum. Okay, Maka gonna pick up Arya here, but it is just Ordinary alone on the point. Gonna be a deleted out, and there we have it. Reverse sweep completed. Spectrum picking up the map and match win.
Wow, that was just fantastic from Spectrum. It's Q again. The DPS is doing so great. Able to get those kills, you know. And these some of these hacks were just absolutely insane. Like what I called it before, the hack on the Doomfist. Yeah, Q actually managed to cancel the Doomfist punch.
Oh my goodness.
Meaning
Yeah.
My own aim was able to stay alive because he didn't. If he got punched, he definitely would have died there. That was just a great hack. Big EMPs as well coming in from Q. Just well played.
Shout out to Q on this Sombra. That's a really smart hero to be picking on kind of your last map there. A lot of like open space on these Flashpoint maps, so it's really easy for Sombra to just kind of get set up in an angle where you can get those hacks off, because it's so easy to just cancel those hacks if you turn around and look at the Sombra. So yeah, just kind of popping up in places where nobody really expected them and doing so much work.
Yeah, that was just great from Q. And I believe do we have MVPs?
I feel like we could give MVP. It's an MVP for the winning team, and then like an honorable mention from the losing team, I believe.
I think let's start with the losing team first. I think My Own Name did really great on. They switched from tank, and I believe they were on DPS as well.
Yep. That's right. They play Tracer.
Yeah, My Name's Tracer was really good, being able to dart in and out, get those distractions coming in. And I think I mean I think I know who my MVP is for Spectrum. I think it's got to be Q.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with both of those. Yeah, honorable mention to my own name, but yeah, Q with the MVP. I mean, that's last point. It all comes down to that last map, right? And Q put so much work in through the whole series, but to really come alive in that last map on that Sombra pick, finding so much value, the massive EMPs. I totally agree with you, Rocky. It's gonna be Q for MVP in this match tonight.
Yeah. And yeah, that concludes it for today. Great game. Reverse sweep. Wow, what a game. I always get to cast the best games. I'm so lucky.
Yeah, this has been so much fun. So thank you to Rocky for doing the producing and for doing the casting. Just an absolute superstar over here. Thank you to the teams as well for putting on such a great show. Congratulations once again to Spectrum for completing that reverse sweep, but also, you know, excellent showing here from Silver Star Surfers. I can't wait to see what these two teams are going to show us in the following weeks.
Yep. And so that'll be it from us on RH and Overwatch. Have a great day, everybody. See you around.